Good evening, guys, and welcome to the All or Nothing podcast in Nottingham, Yorkshire. Tonight, I have a special treat for you guys because I'm doing a double podcast with Tony Dunn from TD Events, who's worked some of the top security for music and sports events. Also, another treat, and two guys that I know very well, Jordan and Jan from Skinworkx Hilltop Tattoo Parlour in Nottingham. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello guys, I'm here now. I'm just with the lads, and like I say, I've had work done off the Skinworkx lads, Jan and Jordan. We've got Tony Dunn as well, as I've introduced. Well, like I say, guys, let's begin off. I'll tell you where I want to start with you guys. I want to start with, you come from a council estate.
Yep.
And everything you've built now has been through hard work and dedication.
So basically, this is his hometown. This is where we started. But it wasn't one of them sort of things where we had a vision and we could see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We just sort of stuck at something, and we just kept wanting to be better and better. And it's sort of evolving itself, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, we never visualised being tattooists, like either of us, especially two brothers to do it. Obviously, I've done everything. I've done like roofing. We've worked for my dad's company making reception desks. It's not something that, like most times, every day a customer will say to me, "Oh, were you good at art at school?" or "Is it something you've always wanted to do?" And tattooing's never something that I wanted to do. It will just think I'm one of them kind of people that if someone says, "Do you want to have a go at that?" I will do it. And it's the same with anything really. And it was just pot luck that we picked a tattoo machine up and started from there. And over the years, you can see the work getting better and better each year. But I think with anything, no matter what it is, if you kind of keep doing something every day, you are bound to get better and better. No matter same with no matter what it is, you know.
Yeah. Even now, there's room to get better. Your body sort of adapts itself, I think. If you want to do well at something, and
I've got to be.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
Thing is, guys, did you have like when you were at school, were you actually good at art or not?
I enjoy doing that, yeah. I love, but not just art, just anything that was creative. Yeah,
practical.
If someone passed me some clay, I'd enjoy sculpturing something out of clay. You know, it wasn't anything to do with the art. It was just to do with hands-on
creativity as well.
Yeah,
creativity.
But and that's what I think they should do it a lot more. I don't know if they still do, but at school, get a lot more hands-on stuff. Because I think now I'm not sure.
Certain kinds of kids don't want to sit in a classroom with formal stuff on, on blackboard.
One thing I want to know, guys, is like, obviously now you're successful, you're doing really well in life. Coming from a council estate, did that drive you to want to succeed?
I'd say so. Like years ago, I always remember saying seeing a person driving a Range Rover. There was a guy who lived on our street. We had an expensive Range Rover, and I thought, how would you be able to drive around in a car like that? And I've been able to get a car like that now, and it's just nice to see. Obviously, years ago as a kid, I remember seeing nice cars and always walking to them, but it's hard work that will get you there to be able to do them kind of things, you know.
Do you know what it is, John, as well? I'm a firm believer in this. I'm a firm believer in positive affirmations, laws of attraction.
Yeah.
So, if you think something, turn that thought into a reality.
Yeah,
and I always think as well, when you send your positive vibes in the universe, it comes true.
It definitely does, yeah.
So when you're sitting there as a young lad saying, I'd love to drive that car, like a Lamborghini or a fucking Ferrari, it's like your vision's already set in your mind.
Do I want a bigger house or do I want a nicer car? But for some reason, I can't stop. Even I'm just wanting to think what's next.
Sorry for putting it, but I just think that's what people who's got their own business want to do. They're never happy with what they've got.
Yeah, that's
true.
Which can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing because you drive yourself
get everything, you still want a bit more. Not always material stuff, but just
the way you're thinking.
The way you're thinking is different. You want this, you want that. You've done that. Well, I've done that now. Like you said, when you
but I think if you
you should be laid on the beach, but you don't. You try to turn it into two.
If you kind of I've worked for people as well, and I think when you're working for people, I don't know if it's just me, but you kind of just plodding along, going to work, but when as soon as like yourself and you set your own business up, and then you start seeing it better and thinking, you're the one on a night when you finish work and you've gone home, you're thinking of stuff, how can I make it better? What else can I do?
You take pride in what you do as well, but people don't see what goes on behind closed doors because we don't shut off when we leave work. We're answering messages or thinking, I need to reply to them, they might think I've been ignorant. You know, no matter what time it is, your mind's never switched off.
Do you feel like you have to reply all the time to people or not?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
It's nowadays, because obviously with social media and stuff and it's on your phone, you can't really not see the messages. Like maybe before internet was just coming about, you have to log onto a computer to see it, but because you've got your phone 24/7, people want you instantly. So I'll do maybe you a tattoo, you'll go out that night, 11 o'clock, lift your arm up, show someone a night for what you've had done. Soon they'll say, oh, I'll have them now. So they'll message you at 11 o'clock at night, how much you charge for this, you know, because you're constantly advertising with when you're putting something on someone's skin, you kind of advertise, it's like a billboard. And
that's the thing with tattooing.
People will message you early hours in the morning.
It's free advertising, isn't it? So you're doing, every person might get you 3 or 4 tattoos, so all of a sudden it becomes massive like that. When
you're saying about having the drive, like when you're saying you're never ever satisfied, like you say, it's a catch-2 situation. It's like sometimes you're not satisfied, but it kind of it's ambition.
Yeah,
you want more, but then people think, well, why are you not satisfied with what you got? But I think personally, it's that you're not satisfied because it drives you to succeed even more.
I think that's what it's nice when you've got nice things, but then I don't know why, even like yourself, why you keep wanting to get something better or more when you've got something that's really good, you know?
Yeah, but I think it's sort of, it's like when you're a kid, Christmas is coming up, you've got this like adrenaline in you, you're so excited, and as you get older, you're sort of chasing that feeling, so you could want something really bad, and no matter how long it takes you to get it, 4 weeks down the line, it's like that novelty's worn off, so then you focus on something else, and that's how we are, you know, we just can't help that.
What's the difference, and I'll ask you this guys, what's the difference from not having money to being comfortable in life and being able to buy anything that you want?
To be fair, like, I think it depends on a scale of how you look at it really. You meet people who's got nothing and they're the happiest people, they don't need anything, and I sometimes think myself, it must be nice to not care what car I've got, not really care what I look like.
So here at Skinworkx, we didn't think it was going to actually take off as well as what it did. I mean, it's a real pleasure to have people coming from Dublin, Essex. We've even done someone from Aberdeen. They're travelling quite a distance just to have tattoos done by us, which is quite a pleasure really. It gives you a good feeling and also puts a bit of pressure on. The tattoo industry itself is absolutely booming, to be fair. All your decent artists are absolutely rammed, they're booked up, and I think it's just personal preference really of which shop or tattoo studio you choose, and we're grateful that we've got quite a good few customers who's actually turned to being really good friends, to be honest. You know, you see things like that, but good thing about tattooing is we've met that people. Like Tony, he come in as a customer, and we could name hundreds of people who, and we get on with everyone, we like to talk to them while they're having tattoos, and the stories people's got, it's like you go to work and they'll tell you their little life story.
And you start telling proper stories, don't you?
And it's absolutely unbelievable.
You're stuck, you can't move.
Yeah.
You can be sat there.
It takes pain away.
Yeah, it takes pain away, yeah. You can't move, can you? So you might as well.
Well, Tony, you know, Tony's worked security for some of the biggest sporting events and music events in Britain. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, Tony?
Yeah, well, I started 31 years ago, rolling around nightclub floors.
And you're still young.
Thank you.
Are
Rolling
you
around
a
nightclub
dancer or? Are you a dancer?
Yeah, I'll have that bloke in and take that. So I started off doing that for a bit of money to get a deposit for my house 31 years ago. Just moved up to doing doors and this and whatever and little bits. And then I got a chance to work Robbie Williams' gig in Nebworth and send some lads there as well. And I just went, I saw that other side of it. I think, you know, there's a bit of a better side to that, and just started to get my name known. It's not to do with being a hard man or being this. It's to do with turning up, doing a job, making sure you're there, doing the job you're on.
And being good at what you do.
Hopefully good at what you do, and then you get asked back. So that's, like I said, we've gone on from there, and then I helped start TD events. I've got some fantastic staff working for me who'll do anything, just about go anywhere, because it's hard to travel the country. It's all right with me in an hotel room with a nice telly, but they're on a campsite with whatever, you know, try and do the best for them, but there's not always the money you need to do that. So I went from there. I've met people that I thought I'd never meet, never spoke to, sat talking to people who are, I'm not saying that you're heroes, but you look up to them, they've done this and done that. And people, when I've worked with them, people have, oh God, I can't believe you're with him, or I can't believe you know him, or, you know, just like for instance Gaza, Sugar Ray Leonard, people like that, Ricky Hart, Frank Bruno, loads of people, you get to work with them, you get to know. I'm not saying that you're mates, but you get to know, you get to sit up on a night with them, talking about things that, you know, normal people don't talk about. So it's good that way, but you've got to keep on top of it all, because if there's always somebody waiting to take my job, my position, my work. So yeah, you keep going, but I still enjoy it now. Obviously this year it's been a lot different, but yeah.
Well, you're listening to a lot of these top people, and they've been turned upside down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a lot of their lives,
a
lot of them top people that you've worked with.
Yeah.
The thing is, Tom, you're obviously no mug, mate, for fucking, you know, running security. You can obviously handle yourself. Do you think, I mean, when I got into films and stuff, I don't know if you felt the same, obviously meeting all these stars, you never sometimes think like, how the fuck have I got here?
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah. And I
I
don't think my wife will say you don't understand what you've had, what you've done, what you've seen, and I don't think you do.
You don't take it in, do you?
No, you just do your job. Where, you know, hopefully we do it right.
Well, obviously when you retire, you know what you'll do, Tom, you probably take a step back from it and go, fuck, how did I mean?
I've been sat with certain people you've seen on TV, and I've actually I've had conversations with them as a normal person. With most people, to meet the celebrity, they'll be in panic and like, I can't believe they've seen them, but when you see them, as like you say, kind of a friend, as a normal person, it's a thing that in the years to come it's something to talk about, isn't it?
I'd like to ask you, Tom, because I've done a podcast recently, and we got on the topic of Paul Sykes from Yorkshire, and I'm told that you know a couple of stories. Did you know Paul personally?
Yeah, well, a long time ago, we used to work in I don't know if anybody remembers, used to be a nightclub in Wakefield called Bourbon Street, and I was the head doorman on there, and we used to have an old-fashioned door with a little latch on and the thing that you could look out and let people in or not. And every time we used to look out, Paul used to be walking up the little alleyway, and we'd say, Paul's here, to the manager, and she'd say, right, okay, and we'd say, Paul, you know you're bad. Yeah, get me 6 cans and I'll fuck off. So the manager used to go, right, she used to get 6 cans, right, see you later, Paul. Every so often he'd get in, and then if he got in, like if I wasn't there or somebody got in before us or whatever, then it was a nightmare.
One thing I always want to know, like I said, I'll always tell the truth and be genuine on the podcast. One thing I want to know is, was he a bully or not?
Yes, he could be.
He had them tendencies to pick on people.
If you went out on a night out before I worked at them nightclubs and he was in a pub, sat, you try to get his eye. Because once you got his eye that way.
Would you have put him in the same, because I mean, when I won the governor title in 2016, obviously Lenny McLean was the governor in the early 80s and 90s. Would you have put Paul in the same league as Lenny? No, because it's a small pond, Wakefield. You know, he went out of Wakefield a few times. It's a big fish in a small pond. So no.
But he always by himself when he used to.
Yeah, unless he fought somebody.
That just proves he didn't need a gang.
Yeah. No, he didn't need a gang.
But have you ever heard the stories about everyone's trying to compare him when Lee Duffy was? Have you heard of Lee Duffy? And he was in prison with Paul at the same time.
Right, yeah.
And they're saying that they were kind of like respecting each other, but who do you think would have won the fight with Lee Duffy?
I don't know. I didn't know Lee Duffy, so I just used to see Paul about he was a big, scary looking man. But then we were 18, 19 years old, so...
And you knew of him as
yeah,
well?
Yeah, we know of his
Straight
reputation, but, you know, sometimes your reputation, don't know.
What was he like? What was he like? Obviously, everyone goes on about when he was drunk and had a drink. What was he like sober?
Probably the same.
Have you ever met him sober?
Yeah, probably the same. Yeah, he used to be just a quiet, just sat there sort of person, you know, and people just give him a wide berth. And by the time, sometimes if you went out, say Friday night, whatever, you might go out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and he'd been out all day.
I was told although he could fight, I was told that although he could fight, he was always capable of using a knife and a weapon as well.
I don't know about that, but I know he could.
That's what I was told.
He could fight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a pro boxer, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, he fought for the British title, I think.
I think you were a good character as well, wasn't you? That comes with it, you know.
Well, the thing is, have you not noticed with the Paul Sykes story now, they've turned into a bit of a comedy.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
You know the way with the documentaries
Yeah,
that you see on YouTube? It's like the way he is and the way he speaks.
Yeah.
and
I
stuff
think
like
how
that.
he speaks, because he's from Yorkshire as well, when you watch him,
Yeah.
it's just how he comes across, it's quite funny to watch, isn't it? Do you
Well,
know?
when I go to London, I come out with my Yorkshire accent, they all take this anyway. So
Yeah.
I think people just take this out. We sound a bit thick anyway.
Yeah, and
Or they think we do, you know what I mean?
Who would you say, Tony, is probably the toughest man you've ever met?
Oh, I don't know. I've done a couple of tours with Roberto Girard. And he was
And Stone.
psychopath, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But to see him, he looked like Del Boy.
Yeah.
Well, you can't believe what same
He
man.
looked the same man that destroyed all the people, but obviously he's a lot younger and a lot different. But the first time I saw him, I went, okay. But,
Yeah.
you know, to look
Bit
at a
deceiving.
bloke like that, deceiving, to be what he was in the ring.
Do you ever feel under pressure sometimes, Tony, in your job? Do you know when you go and do like a gig or you do an event, do you ever feel the pressure of it?
Every gig.
Because you've got all your staff have to come back to you then, haven't you? So if one of your staff has done something wrong, it's coming back to you.
So I've got, if we do a gig or a tour, I've got my job, but then I've got like 40, 50 staff on that job to make sure they're doing all right. Now, yeah, we put people with them, but yeah, it's a lot. And there's also everybody's wanting your job. You know,
Obviously,
there's
you get
so many
security
companies
firms
now.
competing with
Yeah,
each
there's so
other.
many firms competing now, they all want to do what you're doing. So yeah, every gig you're under pressure, yeah. And obviously it doesn't take long for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
Also, if you're having your own business as well, there's a lot of stresses involved because you're relying, you might need 50 people for an O2 event. You're hoping that all them 50 turn up because if you get, and when it's your own business, you've got to think about that. And same with us, making sure your staff are turning up. Like, it's a different thing when it's your own business.
You've got to have an overview, like you,
I'd say I've got some fantastic
Yeah.
staff. Well, I've been with me 7, 8 years, and they've never let me down. But going on to that, before we started COVID, I went to Cheltenham races working, and I got calls. You know, UFC's off, boxing's off, this is off, this is off.
Yeah.
And straight away, all my work got wiped out in a day. So we had to move and turn around to doing different sorts of work because there's no event work. There's nothing.
What was the biggest UFC event you've worked?
O2.
Did you work Conor McGregor? No.
No,
No.
I came to a bit later than that.
Oh shit.
You could with Nigel Bennett.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I worked a lot with Nigel.
He's done a
Nigel Ben,
Yeah, I love
Did you ever work with Nigel when he had the Essex boiler on? and
No,
stuff?
I was too young for that. And I think when you speak to Nigel now, he's a totally different person.
Is he?
Yeah, it's all that's gone now. Yeah.
I think we're mentioning what you just said then, having your kind of business, and obviously getting on a bit of a topic about COVID, is now you've done all these big O2 sell-out events where I don't know how many thousands of people will have been at them. None of that's happening anymore.
Nothing.
So where does that leave
Yeah.
you kind of thing?
How has that
obviously?
affected the world?
Well, my lot, like I said, we were at Cheltenham and everything finished on that day, went into lockdown, and then I just came on and think, right, I'm done. And then people started ringing up, can you do this, can you do that, can we do this static side, hospitals, universities, supermarkets.
Stuff you've never done before.
Everybody it brought it humbled everybody, because everybody thought, oh, I'm the big I am.
Yeah.
And then next thing you're in the supermarket,
Yeah.
car park or whatever, or a uni or a hospital. But it's money, and it's kept. I've had all my staff working all the way through the lockdown.
Oh, so are all them carrying on? Are they all working through at that?
And I've got more as well.
So has your business not suffered? No.
No, everybody's been working.
But it took a turn that you didn't think it was going to take.
I didn't think I'll never ever do static gardening. It's not what we do. But now that's all we do.
See,
So hopefully that'll be another. When we get back to the events, I'm going to maybe keep the static side as well.
my dad, to be fair, he was always a person in the street. He'd get all the kids in the car from school. Let's go to the field. Let's go to the zoo. And he'd take friends who didn't have much as well. And that's just how he is. And when I was growing up, he was like an hero to me, to be honest. It wasn't about money, it wasn't about nothing, but it was his time. And he
even now, when you're a parent, you realise
what he did.
Like the amount of hours, just by when you say if you're coming from school, you take you to a field, you could be there for 3 or 4 hours after work.
But the effort.
But as a parent, seeing sometimes when you sit down to play with your little one, like you don't realise how much time it'll have been at the places with you. You know, like. And that's when you realise.
I had a bit of not around, and a talk to me lad, because he's 17, and he went, Dad, you're alright, but you're old fashioned. I went, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's the best
still
way.
old fashioned. We still want you to do this, do that, have a bit of respect, this.
Yeah.
And he's great, he's no problem, but they don't think we're old fashioned.
Yeah. See, when you become a parent, because I mean I'm not in that position yet, like, but see when you become a parent, how does it affect you? You know, like when you live you've got a busy lifestyle in work and a business. How does that affect your relationship and being a father?
To be fair, me personally, I feel like you sort of split in two.
You feel guilty sometimes. You spend too much time in work.
1,000,000%. But we don't hours-wise, you're not there that much.
Yeah.
But if I were going to work all week and then maybe go out with friends on a Saturday night, I'd be so guilty thinking, through that week I need to do plenty with kids, and then that's that bit done. And I feel like a split person.
Do you ever say to yourself, like just say when COVID wasn't easy, do you ever say to yourself, right, I'll go out Saturday night with the lads, have a good night, but then I'll spend all week with my kid?
Oh, we do that anyway.
Yeah.
That's just how
I'm never, well Jordan earlier as well, but never a massive drinking person that'd always be out and stuff like that. But because we're all really close as a family, the kind of Jordan's kids I'll take them places, or they'll go with mum and dad. They're kind of, it's like a big circle really, do you know?
You've got it unbelievable here.
It's a different
like
thing.
a little world here. It's marvellous.
Well, it all works, and I think as well sometimes it ain't about going out and getting steaming for us, but obviously we do like to go out now and again, but it's mixing with friends and just having that time from work, whether just it's a quick reset or, do you know, just feel like I've done something this weekend.
Well, I'm a bit different. Sorry, I'm a bit different with it all because I'm away.
Opposite way.
Most summers. In fact, me and my wife talked about it today. Went for a walk and we were saying about how she feel a bit guilty and what do I feel. I went, I don't feel guilty because I might have been away for a week at a time or whatever, and Mrs. birthday when he was 4. But then when I got home, he had all my time. We took him to dinner. I took him to maybe a place that you might be working in your shop, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I could have taken him somewhere in the day or footballing or
whatever. just
so
how you
balances
worked it.
out. Yeah.
See, what I respect about you, like you guys and stuff, is like you're very family orientated. And I've noticed like you're all living together, very close.
And to be fair, a lot of people say, how do you do it? But it just works, it's always, we know really, do you know? And especially this year, it's been fantastic because, you know, just for instance, an old lady in a terraced house with an old garden, maybe a kid or a grandkid or whatever, they were tied down that much, but we're very lucky that we've got a big garden, you know, I can see my niece, so whenever I want, he can see my kids, and it's just sort of worked. But I just, like I said,
I won't say we're not busy as in, there's people out there who do 12-hour shifts, might do 4 on the trot or whatever it is, you know, they are doing a lot of hours, so I don't know what it is like for them to go home to a family, or if you worked away and come back after 3 months to see your kid, but that's because they're what they're used to doing. But for our ours is, we're not doing tons of hours, but it's just obviously the routine that you're in. You get, when you're off your own business, you get to the shop an hour early and leave an hour later because that's how it works, you know. You don't just turn up bang on time and go off on a finishing time. So you are working all the time.
But obviously before the tattooing, me and Jan, we did shifts at Argos warehouse, you know, we've done all sorts.
We left after 2 weeks though. He didn't tell me we're doing night shifts. So we got there and
at the time I was DJing and I said, I can't do nights, mate. And well, Jan said, well, if he can't, I can't get here. So we did 2 weeks like.
What made you get into security, Tony? What was the trigger point for you to start doing?
I worked, believe it or not, I was a bit of a bodybuilder. I've got a picture on it.
Yeah. Bodybuilder.
Decent physique, everything. We went to move. We were going to move out. We were going to buy a house, sorry. And I worked in lived in Castleford, and they said, "Oh, come and work on this nightclub, £5 a night." So I worked on this nightclub. I thought I'll just get a deposit for my house. 31 years later, so I worked on the nightclub, got moved and kept just as a part-time job. I worked in a bakery, so we finished at the nightclub at maybe 3 a.m, had a drink and then, well, a coffee, whatever, and then went straight to my day job in the bakery. So we did that for a bit, and then I just thought, you know, when you look at it, you can make a bit of a living off this. And this was before everybody needs security now, everybody. But they didn't need it then, so I thought, we can make a bit of. So I put myself about to different clubs and different bars. So when I got to Leeds, for instance, I couldn't drive them. My wife took, I got a train through to Leeds. I worked in a pub. Then we used to close for 2 hours in them days. Then it opened again. Then I went to another nightclub. Finished at 4 in the morning. My wife used to pick me up, and then bring me home, pick me up in pyjamas, bring us home. And I thought, you can make a bit of living off this. So I started to put myself about a bit. Got a name as turning up, you know, doing a job. Because a lot of people now just think, well, I can't turn up today. I don't think I've ever had a day off.
For you, setting up then, do you know, obviously when you did,
that would just
there'll have been no internet, was there really?
No, nothing.
So to start a business now, it's a bit easy to start a business because of media.
Yeah.
But to start a business like that, even to get big events, it must have been a lot harder to get, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was so hard. It's hard to get people who stay with you as well.
So can you see yourself winding down the next few years?
Definitely. So I've got a son who maybe he's clued up, to be fair. He's only a young kid, he thinks he knows more than he does, but he's clued up. So if he gets trained properly,
You might get brains.
he might, yeah.
How many years do you reckon to got 5 years?
63.
Because obviously, you're always, like we were on about earlier, you're always wanting more and more.
Yeah.
Like it's same for me and John, like, when you're going to keep chasing and chasing, then eventually you're going to hit a point where you say, I'm going to have to go backwards a bit now.
So far,
stop
I'd
the
be
business.
It's a bit hard, that really, because if somebody offered me a decent tour at 63, I'd think, I'll do that.
That
I'll
would
do a decent job.
Yeah, you probably will.
Yeah. For me and John, I think I'd always love to carry on doing it, but I don't know if it's more that maybe your eyesight might start going, or you might start getting arthritis, and maybe that might be the reason that you come to an end.
Something to stop you.
Something to stop you.
See, we're going to get onto the topic of COVID, and I think all of us agree sitting here that
We're definitely all the distancing.
it's bollocks, and we're definitely not social distancing.
We are, yeah, but are we social? We are social, we're not anti-social now.
No.
We're not wearing masks.
Well, I don't know about that. Is that a stick on nose?
But to be honest, guys, I mean, I know your views on COVID. Everybody watching, I mean, I would say 70-80% of people have started to open their eyes up to the bullshit. Guys, what is your views on COVID?
Well, my view is, how can they expect you not to work? And the job we do is quite a skilled job, and I like a routine. I like to do X amount of hours every day, go home, you know, go to bed similar time every day. And this job that we do, it's quite a skilled job that you can't just say, I'm having a month off. You're never going to pick up where you left off. You know, it's just a fact. You know, if you can remember being at school, summer holidays come, you go back to school, you put your pen in your hand, and you're like,
You've got ache in your hand, like.
and it's not exactly what it was. So, I mean, these ways around it, obviously, if we have to practice on ourselves before we go back to work, we can. That's fine, but I just think it's absolutely mental.
So be warned, guys, whoever gets booked in first at Tattoo Studio
Try the
might be a mistake.
Next year, is it going to be back to normal?
I think myself,
It's going until the vaccine.
I think this is not going to leave. Like, I think 5 years, there's going to be stuff where, can you go on holiday, have you had that vaccine, or...
You're only going to be able to go abroad if you have the vaccine.
Yeah, like...
And this is my belief, if the video gets took down, we're fucked. Team China has a 1 billion population. Their population is track and traced with a chip.
Is it?
Google it,
I
Google it.
didn't know that, to be fair, you know.
Google it, go on Google, you will see the Chinese population is track and traced and facial recognition.
Quick little story. My mate went on a bike ride, 2 of them. They went to this pub. Said, "Oh, we'll have a drink." So they sat outside the drink. Went outside. Waitress come out. "Oh, what do you want to drink?" "Oh," he says, "I'll have 2 hours of lager." "Oh, I can't serve you unless you're having a meal." He says, "No, we're on a bike ride, so we don't want a big meal. So we'll have a toasty." "Oh no, that's not a meal. We need to get lasagna or whatever." He says, "But I can serve you coffee." So we went, "Well, I'll have 2 lattes then." So they went, "Okay." So they brought them out to the same place. So they had to sit drinking, or they could have drunk 2 hours of Coke, but they couldn't drink 2 hours of lager. So that's because of the COVID. So where that works, I don't know.
I think
That's a true story.
45,000 deaths in a 67.5 million population country isn't a pandemic, right?
To shut the world down, yeah.
Right.
To shut the world down.
In the year 1300, with the Black Plague, 250 million people died worldwide. That's a fucking pandemic.
That's when you know that something's
Yeah.
very, very serious. These people will probably comment on this and start, Facebook again, slacking you off. You're talking.
It's only our opinion,
You've not
isn't
had
it?
it. You've not had it, groggy. Like, and I thought I've just got a bit of normal flu, and that's it.
2 weeks ago, I had the shites.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was shiting through the Avon Eagle.
that'd be the pudding for you know.
What did you have?
No, but did you think, I'm going to get a test, I'm going to get a test,
No.
or I've just got a bit of normal flu that I probably get every year?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
a bit of a runny,
for the test.
do you know, a bit of a runny nose.
Every year I get the
At this time of year, it's normal to have a runny nose.
But it doesn't exist. I was
Oh,
shiting
no.
through the Avon Eagle 2 weeks ago. Right, 2 days later, I'm good. I'm good again.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people out there that want, sorry everybody, on Facebook, I'm kind of letting you know that I'm positive, I'm going to stay safe.
People think it sounds futuristic, but do you know maybe 2 years ago, could you ever picture someone saying to you, there's going to be a virus, it's going to shut the world down, you'll all be off work? Like, you wouldn't ever have thought that would have happened in our lifetime, would you?
I think as well, it's mainly the small businesses that are struggling.
Yeah.
It's just wiping them people out who are quite happily ticking over.
Or just setting your own, you just set your business up, just get going, lockdown.
I also think the government want all the people that are not doing what they should. Fold your business because you're going to keep shutting you.
Yeah.
Go and work for someone. We can see
Get
what
to
tax
big
you're paying.
big warehouses.
We can monitor.
We can monitor you and you're under our
Have you
law.
ever thought about, and not just an idea for you guys, I'm not putting you on the spot in front of the camera, but have you ever thought of an idea about like using like obviously your success in maybe creating food banks for like families that are not quite poor?
I do, like, I'm the kind of person that I do anything. If I see someone I don't think's got much or the poor, I'd help them out. You know, I'm the kind of person to do that. You know.
Recently, there were in Nottingham. I don't think in history of Nottingham, since I've been around, there's been a tramp, and there turned to be a tramp, and the weather was shocking. It was snowing a lot.
Yeah.
So first thing we said is let's get over there, see who he is, or is he into drugs,
Yeah,
whatever.
They were living out
And
there.
before we went up, we said, look, obviously we can't just give you everything, but if you want to do a bit of work, we'll pay you. You know, come back at the shop. We're not bothered if it's clean or not, but if you want to clean it up and do something, we'll get you a bit of money. So we did that, did about 3 or 4 times. And next thing, can we have today's up, like, can I have tomorrow's up front? And I thought, this is going on downhill slow. So I said, well, whatever it was, I said, yeah, we'll take benefit of doubt. Next day, don't turn up. And you think, you try and be genuine, you just to help someone.
12 people.
It's like the phone call we had between us three about the guy
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah,
He helped him.
I'm one of the
Yeah,
people that I do. I love to help people.
They take the piss out of you.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'd always try and help
I
someone.
hate to see someone like you think,
Sometimes people take niceness for weakness though.
Yeah,
To
definitely.
do like it says, if you sometimes now, if you go out to anywhere nice clothes and you look at someone who hasn't maybe got the trains have got holes and stuff in, I as a person always feel bad.
every night we'd be finished school, in the house, within 3 minutes we're out, playing hide and seek or
Yeah.
leap or and running.
Times have changed so much.
Yeah, and now the
Completely.
kids.
It's a fashion thing as well.
My lad now he gets a pair of trainers, 100 quid.
Yeah, but
Yeah, like
it's
it's
not-
nothing.
But
I
parents,
think 100 quid in each hand.
parents,
But
it must be hard at being at school and
It's a competition.
and-
You don't have
and
that.
if your parents haven't got anything,
That's shocking, yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
do you do when your kid's saying, "Oh, can I have an iPhone 12 or whatever it is
Yeah,
now?"
absolute
And
fortune.
their best friend's got one, and you've got a phone that's 50 quid. Like,
Yeah, that's
it must not be a
sad
nice
situation.
It's a sad
we
situation.
never had that. See, obviously I'm older than you.
Yeah.
When we were at school, we never had that because we didn't.
Probably won't-
Don't material.
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's it.
But it is the Instagram and the Facebook and stuff that is causing that, because it's making things look really
Do you
good.
not find Instagram, I think it's definitely more than Facebook, do you not think Instagram is fake where people are living this fake luxury
Or
lifestyle?
it's you get that best
Always
picture,
nice
you know.
cars, nice houses,
Yeah.
holidays,
These big-
6-packs.
There's people who put genuine pictures on, but then there's one, you might take a picture over there and think, oh, that's in way, I need to move that, make my house look spotless, you know.
Natural, yeah.
And I think it shouldn't be all about that. It
But
should be,
it's also an easy way for dating and whatnot, but it's also addictive. If you're getting some feedback thinking,
Yeah.
you look fantastic, everyone in their eyes going, I want a bit more of that.
Listen, I've been guilty of that myself, guys, and you probably.
Yeah, but it's sometimes a good feeling, isn't it?
Do you know what, like, because I've always been body conscious, sometimes I've been insecure about myself. So what I've done is you'll post, like, remember the first pictures in the tattoo shop?
Yeah.
It was like, I was proud, like it was covering my insecurities. And it's like, when you get loads of likes, in your head it's like,
Yeah,
I like this.
that feels good, which is
And it's like, you're asking for attention, but not like in a beginning way, but just to feel liked.
Just to feel liked, isn't it, I suppose.
But another point I'll touch on is like how fast does time go by these days? And I think a lot of it, I'll say to my customers, you know, just for instance, you've been at work, which you're busy, then you go to a cheap shop, you look in front of you, there's 30 people, so you pick your phone up. Next thing you know, a woman saying what do you want, and you're like, where's that 10 minutes gone? And you're never bored.
There's no time for, and that's in the lockdown when we had it. It made me
The days were
realise
that long.
the days were that long. You were out in the garden being busy, but as soon as you're at work and you maybe come home, you look at your phone and you think, I've been on my phone an hour. I've been on eBay. I've been
clock's just going round.
you need to get it into you not to be doing it, because then when you've got a family,
They're growing up in front of you.
they're all growing up and everything's going so quick. The time that you get bored at home, you're filling it by just looking at nothing, because your head's programming just to be flicking, and you actually realise you're not looking at anything.
It's designed to attract your attention, so that's what it does. I'm the type of person, for me to stop doing what I do, I'm not zoned into it. You'd have to cut me out.
I have a day off work, and I'm not lying. I ain't ever thought I'm having an off day today. I'm not going to bother. I've never done it. Even I've been tattooing years now.
I've never. If you start saying, "Oh, I feel a bit groggy,"
got a bit of an headache, you know.
You go to work, you function.
That's
do your
what.
best every time.
See, I don't do illness. When they ring up and said, "Oh, Tony, I'm off," I said, "Well, because there's a big thing like."
Are you dead?
Oh, I've just died. Are you dead? No. No. Well, you're all right.
Is that's the difference to a person? Isn't it? A person.
Yeah.
If you're one of these people, we're ring up, I've got a bit of bellyache.
Yeah.
I won't let someone down with that. You know,
we're not like that.
Do you think you guys will calm down in the future, or do you think you'll stay at the same pace shut now?
I think I'd like to I'd probably drop down to doing
4 days,
3 or 4 days, and then
but longer maybe.
longer days, or then eventually start maybe picking and choosing. Shall I do that day? Shall I do that day? And maybe break it down. But I think it's always good to, because your mind's concentrating. It's always good to have something to concentrate on. But
Just that as well, it's good for your mental health. And the fact that
It
it
stimulates
keeps
your
yourself
mind.
focused as well.
Because another thing that people always say, or like, do you ever get tired of doing it? But I think the tiring thing is, when a customer walks in, you talk to someone a conversation, 6 hours, 7 hours every day.
It's a bit like driving, isn't it?
It's like driving. You know, when I get in, I sometimes think, just want an hour quiet. You know, I get nothing to talk about. It's not that I'm like in a mood or anything. It's just with tattooing. I think people don't understand that it can be quite tiring just from drawing and looking at something all day. You know,
You're just softer. So who's the best artist?
Aye.
I think I've got to say maybe.
Who's the best tattooist out of you and
Patrick.
Go shite on there.
You can't really pick.
No, be
But
honest
if I
with
want
you,
to pick it, it'd be me.
serious question, truthfully, right, from you and you, who do you rate as the best artist?
Well, how it works in our shop, when someone comes in, we'll look at the tattoo what they want doing, and we've got 4 artists. We always try and give that customer the best option they can have. So whether that specific thing will with me, or if it would be with Jan or one of the other lads, I'd always give them my best advice and say, look, this is who you need to do it.
So who gets the most custom then?
Well, me and him
We're all saying, like I said, Nathan who works for us, he used to be receptionist. He's always been quite good.
Nathan's changed his life, and
He's changed his life.
He's doing good work as well.
Yeah.
He's really good at Patrick. Like I say, he's driving around in a Mercedes S-Class now, Patrick.
Doing a bit of funeral dance.
See, as someone who's had one off every one of them.
Yeah.
Patrick's the detail man.
I'm the one who talks.
John's the one who talks.
And I run the show.
John runs the show.
But he's still not answered the question.
So
Who's the best?
I think we're both very similar. I can pick on his work, he can pick up my work.
I think you're both different in qualities.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the quality, it's the ideas. You might walk in and say, I want a New York theme. Say it to both of us. We could probably both separate ways draw it, and it'll look totally different. And
So you could say Jordan's better for that job and you're better for another job.
No, I just like it's the vision that you have.
Yeah,
Like
Jan's
not
got
everyone
a
has the
vision.
same vision. If someone can walk, I love doing cover-ups. Someone who's a walk in and lift their arm up or whatever it is, I just have an image straight away what I can do. But I won't say that makes you better.
Another thing that I always say to like customers, because we talk all day, and whether you've been at home, arguing with your wife or whatever it could be, the minute I get in that work, they are going to get me. You know, I'm not just going to think, oh, today, you know, something's going on. I'm not really bothered about training. I will give 110%.
You can't.
My worries will wait till after work and then it'll start and I'll sort that out after. That's just how I am. Customer satisfaction.
Different jobs. If you worked in a warehouse or if you worked in a supermarket, if you've got something on your mind, you can walk around doing your job but thinking about it. Or like,
you need to
what am I going to
out.
do? But when you're tattooing, you can't really think that because you're concentrating on something that's that deep, you know. So you don't really get time to.
And also, it's going to stay on that person.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got a responsibility, right?
That's right.
It is, yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the interview, guys. We went over quite a few topics tonight, and you know, some people are going to like it, some people will hate it, but I'll tell you what, this is all or nothing podcast. Anything goes in this podcast, and you know, opinions vary. As I'll repeat, some people will like it and some people won't. But from me and the rest of the lads, God bless, and we'll see you on the next episode. Good night, God bless.